Okay, this section's on finding the reference angle. And you know that when we draw the coordinate grid, we can sketch all kinds of angles from 0 to 360, even larger than 360. But often it's very nice to know what is the reference angle. You know, if I say 370, what's the reference angle for 370? And the cool thing about reference angles, there's two special things. They're always positive, and always less than 90, which means always acute. So those 2 points are very important in terms of finding a reference angle. So you need to make sure it's always positive and make sure it's an acute angle. So now, let me make a list of some angles. What about 170? What about 210? What about negative 305? What do we know about those angles? Do we know where they are? Well, first of all, 170, what quadrant is it in? 170. It's in quadrant 2, so do a little sketch. 170 is in quadrant 2. All right, all the way to here is 180, so what do you think the reference theta is? It's 10. So when theta equals 170, theta reference equals 10. When you get a reference theta, double check. Is it positive? Is it acute? Yeah. Is that acute? No. All right. Let's do theta equals 210. What do you think theta reference will be? Well, let's sketch it. 210. Third quadrant, correct? This is 180. How far from 180 to 210? 30. So theta reference is 30 degrees. Got my degree things there. Is that 30 positive? Is it acute? Yes. What about negative 305? Well, let's sketch it. Negative, go the other way. So negative 90, negative 180, negative 270. So negative 305 is somewhere in this quadrant. What quadrant is that? Quadrant 1. So if it's 305 all the way this way, if I were to measure from here to here, what would it be? If I went all the way around, it would be 360. So what's 360 take away 305? 55, right? So let's write this out. If theta equals negative 305, then theta reference equals 55, positive and acute. You want to do another negative? Negative 200. Where is that? All right, let's think here. Negative 180, negative 200 up here. Okay. If this is 180 and this is 200, 200, what's the difference between them? 20. So when theta equals negative 200, and you always find the reference theta by thinking the x-axis and how close is it to the x-axis. Don't use the y-axis. So I always like to draw perpendiculars to the x. So the theta reference here, what did we say it was? 20. So there's how to find a reference theta for any given angle. You know, I didn't do one that circled the axis more than once. Suppose I said theta equals 460 degrees. What's the theta reference for that? So when you think about 460, you go all the way around once. 360, how much more do I have to go? 100. So I'm right there, correct? So if that's 100, what's the distance from here to the x-axis? 80. So when theta equals 460, theta reference equals 80. It's the acute angle that you make with the x-axis. So drop a perpendicular to the x-axis and find that angle coming right off of the center. And that is your reference theta. Some of you might be able to do this without the sketches. I recommend doing the sketches. It just makes more sense. It also helps you figure out what quadrant they're in, because sometimes I want to know what quadrant they're in. What quadrant is this angle in? It's in quadrant what? Quadrant number 2. And remember, we named them by Roman numerals. What about the negative 200? That was in quadrant 2. What about the negative 305? Remember where that was? That ended up quadrant 1, right? 210, quadrant 3, right? So, I think you can do these now. Good luck.